from your
feedback that
mulch.
someone hated that? Like, we had like a fan that hated that. And we now do it again.
Wait, which part did they hate? The yelling? The heyo?
Yeah, I thought they hated the heyo.
Maybe they just hate me. Live from your mulch museum, it's a maniacal, magical Monday edition of Business Pants. Joined as always by our BS correspondent, Matt Muscari. That's Board Sabermetrics.
Ooh, I do like that. We have a thing.
I'm a hydrated, frequent peer.
You and me both.
Is that what hydrated? Is that what hydrated really means? Does it mean high frequency peer? Is that what that means? Hydrated? Because that's what's happening to me.
Yeah. Well, I drink like 1.5 of these things a day. This is a lot.
How are you sitting there right now? Do you have a diaper?
I'm actually wearing a meta diaper.
In today's bottomless pit called September 19th, 2022, sexy story updates and sleazy academic papers. Come on, let's get to it. Come on.
Woohoo!
We got a lot.
Let's do it.
I'm going old fashioned today. Going back to our categories.
Ooh. Classic.
Let's start with CEO's rule. Yeah, boy, Queen. The Queen is dead. Oh. You can't boo death, can you? Unless it was murder. I guess you can boo a murder. British business grinding to a halt today, Matt. Basically all stores are closed. The UK government said some workers may not get paid if businesses do not open.
Wow. They might not get paid?
How great is this? How great is this?
That is breaking news. You are getting no money because the Queen is dead.
This is the true story of the Queen. And finally, a fun tidbit just for me, Matt, or maybe you might like this too. Did you know that there is a Poundland in the UK? Like our dollar store, there's a Poundland. You psyched about that? I'm kind of psyched.
I'm not that psyched. Poundland?
Okay. I was just.
How does it deal with inflation?
Do you think their workers the way ours do? Do you think it's
hopefully
as bad?
Do you think it's owned by the same people? Do they just like go around and it's like rupee land and ruble land, yen land?
I'm putting a note down right now to check into that.
Did you know actually because like 1 yen is like infinitesimally small? Do you think they actually have to make it like million yen land?
Yeah, 7x yen land.
It's not great.
Also in CEO's rule. Oh no, let's stay in the Queen. eBay is removing wristbands given to those queuing to see the Queen's coffin. An eBay spokesperson said these items are against our policies and we are removing them from our site. I don't know about what.
Which policy is that? Did they write down no wristbands?
Queen death. Yes, Queen death wristband. Making money off the Queen when you're out of a job because everything's closed.
Because you're closed, you don't have anywhere to go. You're alone.
Can I just repeat?
How dare you?
Can I just repeat that all these stores are shutting down the UK and some workers might not get paid? Can I just repeat that? Am I allowed to repeat
you
that?
can, and I'm not sure that anybody anywhere cares.
Okay, now let's actually move on. Elon Musk. Let's get to the Elon Musk updates.
Oh,
Elon
do we
Musk's
have to?
college girlfriend just sold a collection of his photos and mementos for more than $165,000. That photo you're looking at now, Matt, and for all our listeners, viewers who are actually viewing along with us, which is usually about 1 or 2. Congratulations.
Is that many now?
That's the top photograph. Want to guess how much that went for, Matt?
Ooh. Well, hold on. I'm going to look really closely. First of all, I see flip-flops. I see what looks like computer wires, so he's clearly doing something genius.
Yes.
And
don't forget the goofy pose.
I don't care. I'm trying to look past the pose.
Oh, past the goofiness.
If I get really close up, it looks like dirty laundry. And I don't know. It looks kind of like there's some bras in behind him. I would say $100,000 right there.
Oh, that's sad. Unfortunately.
Oh,
it's only it's $22,000. That's the top photograph. There's also some necklace for $51,000, but this is what's going on.
Like his necklace?
I don't know.
Is he Jesus now? Have we just?
Can we move on?
Yeah, we can.
Musk filed new claims when the war with Twitter. He's saying that now there's a conspiracy among Twitter executives to deceive the public.
Oh, man.
I just want to read this quote from this new filing from his lawyers because it's just so beautiful and bombastic and full of hyperbole. I just like it and I want to read it. So it's my show. I get to do it.
Nobody's telling you anything otherwise.
Here's an actual quote from the court filing. Elon Musk's lawyers. Here's the quote. Stunning events over the last week, however, have revealed that the misrepresentations regarding monetizable daily active users were only one component of a broader conspiracy among Twitter executives to deceive the public, its investors, and the government about the dysfunction at the heart of the company. I like that. Right? Come on. How great is that?
That's a lot. There's no hyperbole there.
Let's move on.
Oh, do we have to? I was just
I don't think you want to talk about Elon Musk. So
no, I'm so tired of Elon Musk. He's so boring.
Let's go to stakeholders rule. Here's an interesting one. So we talked about in the past how a lot of companies are leaving Chicago. We don't really know why, but three of the big ones, Citadel, Boeing, Caterpillar, are leaving Chicago for other places. One's going to Miami, one's going to Virginia, one's going to Texas. Although that seems like we do know why when you look at that. That looks like a
no
woke
taxes,
exodus.
no taxes,
Yeah.
no taxes.
An
Yeah.
anti-woke exodus. But now the CEO of McDonald's is actually coming out and saying he's got some inside information. This is Chris Kempczinski, the CEO of McDonald's. He says workers are hesitant to return to the company's Chicago headquarters over concerns that crime in the area is soaring. That's what he said. He said in particular, employees are reluctant to ride mass transit in order to commute to work.
Wow. That's tough.
He also said, this is a quote, "It's more difficult for me to recruit a new employee to McDonald's to join us in Chicago than it was in the past." And I wonder, Matt, is that because of Chicago or because of your shitty company? Which do you think is it?
It probably has something to do with the culture of harassment. I mean, I can't.
Well, let's think about that.
Do they put that as a question in the interviews?
I didn't see that one. But this is a first. This is a weird one. I don't know how to categorize this, but he's not really backing it up with any proof. But he's basically just calling out the city for crime. I just think the whole thing is funny to me because where do you think most drug dealer criminal types go after a good score, good heist, good
Texas.
crime
They don't have to
spree?
pay taxes there.
No, I think they go to the McDonald's drive-through in Chicago. That's where I think. They go.
Oh, look at you! So they're actually
I'm
the
just saying,
biggest source
the whole
of revenue.
thing is strange. This is just. I don't know how to talk about this.
What-
Maybe.
What if the score was robbing a different McDonald's? How does McDonald's account for that?
Do we give him credit for staying in Chicago? Do we lambaste him for calling out the entire city for people who are afraid to ride the subway, which is probably not true. Actually, I'm sure ridership is not going down, but I don't know. Do you care about this?
Look, I think the bigger risk here is that the Chicago mafia of board members, the Abbott Labs and McDonald's,
It's diminishing.
They're diminishing in power. That's the bigger story. It's
the bigger story, right?
Now, where are they going to go? They don't want to be on the board of the Chicago Opera anymore. Where are they going to go? They're going to disperse. That might be the best removal of groupthink by just moving them someplace else.
And the good news is that the crime stats out of Miami is actually zero. There's no crime in Miami.
No, I heard that it's zero. They're also, if you buy waterfront property now, it'll be really close to the water in the next couple of years. So it's a good time.
Up next in stakeholders rule is this goofy story. Meta employees have criticized the company's plans to introduce hot desking at its offices. So Facebook and Instagram, they want a trial. They want to trial a new workplace experience that makes staff book desks before they arrive at the office. But here's why I included this story, Matt, because here's this quote, and I want you to help me with this. One Meta employee said, "Can we just cut the bullshit and call it cost cutting? Nobody is buying this new experience." And then he said, "Nobody is buying this new experience C word. C." Okay. He said, this new experience C star star star. How do I explain this? I
I,
don't know. What's the swear? I don't know what is he saying?
is
Can
he
you just help
talking?
me?
Is it? It's
What are
an
they blocking out here?
it's an epithet for a female body part, isn't it?
I mean, really? Nobody is buying this new experience C word? What is he saying? What is happening here? Help me.
I
That's
think
what you
that.
think it is?
Well, it's. I mean, it's either that or
Yeah.
what? Crayons?
What is it?
What?
I don't understand what they're blocking out here. What is the swear? This is what I really want to know.
I like that the story really has to do with that. It has nothing to do with the story.
I'm like
I can't
fixated
believe
on this.
I can't believe
I've never
you,
seen the C word like this. I don't even know which C word it is.
you went past hot desking, like that's
Go
a
ahead.
hot
Bail me out.
box. Like what is?
Could you imagine? Could you imagine your old job going in and every day you have to like sign out a new desk?
What
every
a
day?
terrible experience that is. You're testing literally the worst experience.
Ugh.
The joy that you have is when you get through the gauntlet of humans that you don't want to talk to
Yes.
get to the desk that you're going to sit at all day and hopefully not get out of to avoid talking to people on the way out or moving around.
Not to mention the fart pillow that is your $600 desk chair. Do you really want to be sharing that with everybody?
Imagine
what
this.
are we doing here?
This is literally the worst idea I've ever heard of.
I expect more out of Zuck. I know we make fun of Zuck, but I actually expect more out of him. I'm
Are the
let
hot
down.
desks available in the metaverse also? Do you have to reserve
know.
that? How's
Again,
that
I
work?
want to know what this is. Nobody is buying this new experience C word. I just don't understand.
You just
got to
search for every variation of C word you can think of with that headline, and someone printed it.
And finally, in stakeholders rule, PayPal CEO Dan Schulman is issuing an ultimatum to the Phoenix Suns. He's saying, in light of the findings of the NBA's investigation, we will not renew our sponsorship should Robert Sarver remain involved with the Suns organization after serving his suspension.
Wow. Is Peter Thiel pissed about that? That's his old company. It sounds pretty woke, doesn't
Doesn't
it?
that sound pretty woke?
Sounds pretty
I mean,
woke
shouldn't
to
you
me.
support you should support the racist, right? Because it's his
Because
company.
it's his
He-
company, and
are
all
we doing
opinions
here?
are valid. Like you can't. Racist opinions are just opinions. You can't discriminate against them.
Yeah. Plus, what about all the racism against the white people now?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Right? What about all that terrible racism?
that like no one talks about how much racism there is against white people,
You
the
know how hard it
majority
is
of
to be a
people.
white man these days, especially a straight white man. It's just not easy.
It's like everybody wants the shit that we've had for 10,000 years, and they just keep
hard.
grabbing
It's
at
just
it and taking it.
difficult. Okay, let's go over to dystopia. Here's the headline: Disney. Okay, I really just called this one out. I don't like care about the metaverse. I don't care about Disney. I don't care about any of this. I just like the way this is reported. This is out of the British press. I just like this. Disney bets the Mouse House on virtual reality. Beleaguered CEO
good word.
Bob Chapek reveals plans for a lifestyle experience metaverse that will recreate their theme parks online. I like this. Beleaguered bald Bob. I love this.
Yeah, he is going through a mid CEO crisis, though. The beard gives it away. Like he looks like
Absolutely true.
Yeah, that is a beleaguered man.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this. This tweet that the article highlighted. This is from Juan Carlos Bagnell.
Yeah, he's got the little blue check mark on Twitter too, so it means he's
at
not a
some
bot.
gadget guy. He said, "Damn Disney, just say it direct like that. 90% of the human population is too poor to visit our parks, but hopefully some are less poor enough to own VR goggles and ride our rides in a metaverse clone." I don't know. I like that.
It is very expensive. Have you ever been? You've never been to Disney. I was forced to go.
No, but the VR goggles can't be too cheap either, though, right?
Yeah, but they're cheaper
Like, it's
than
cheaper
that.
than a vacation.
Also,
That's
the whole
true. That's
point
true.
of the park was the physical experience of the park. And if you make a metaverse park, then why do you need a park?
I don't know. Take it up with beleaguered bald Bob.
I need to grow a
CEO
bigger beard.
Chapek. Okay, let's move on to our blowhard index. A couple of stories I like here. First of all, this is genius. How is Credit Suisse thinking of getting out of its terrible hole of just being a horrible company that everybody hates, Matt? I got an easy
It's
solution.
got a plan?
Just change its name to the First Boston. That's it. That's the plan.
Oh, there you go. Rebrand.
It wants to change its name in the U.S. to First Boston. Everybody likes Boston. They like Big Papi. They like Larry Bird. Come on, it's genius.
Look, if you look around, if you're one of the worst companies in the world, and you've been looking around, and everybody else is just changing their name, and then you forget that they were the worst company in the world, it's not the worst strategy.
No,
what's funny about it is that First Boston used to exist.
Yeah.
And we're just going backwards now.
And secondly, in the blowhard index, I had to do it. Business Insider's reporting on summer travel chaos 22 finally jumped the shark or the fish or whatever. Sorry for the pun. Here's the headline: 2 Southwest workers looked after a passenger's pet fish for 4 months after it was banned from her flight.
That's a story?
Okay, let's move on. Finally, a Business Pants fan weighing in. We have a Business Pants fan. Her name is Melinda French Gates.
Really?
She's calling out the lack of comprehensive paid family medical leave in the U.S., and she said electing more women and people of color would help fix this. She says, there are too many men with seats of power still on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Business Pants fan. There you go. Melinda French Gates. Matt, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation recently found the world won't reach gender equality until at least 2108.
I like that we'll all be dead by the time we get to gender equality.
Yeah, 2108, the new 2050. I mean, you got to at least like that. You got to give them credit for that. 2108.
That's a good projection, although I'm about to prove her wrong. I'm sorry to say.
All right, that's a good transition. Let's get over to our nerd alert.
Boom! All right, look, this isn't so much. Usually, I read a paper and I give you some findings that nerds made, and then I explain it to you because you don't get it. This time, we're going to do something different because I read this paper, and this requires classroom discussion. So here, there's actually been a series of papers. I'm going to highlight 2 or 3. And then I have some discussion questions. You ready?
All right. Yeah.
The concept is the robo-director, an AI corporate director.
Right. Are you serious?
This is a real thing. It's a real discussion amongst corporate law scholars.
And this isn't something that we thought of. This isn't like
this isn't
meta
us.
diaper
this
or something.
This is not a game. This isn't us making believe. It's not silliness. There's a paper from July 2022 called "The Role and Legal Implications of Autonomy in AI-Driven Boardrooms."
AI-driven boardrooms.
Yeah, an AI-driven boardroom.
Wow.
The paper I did a deep dive in is from November of 2021, but it's getting published soon, I believe. It's called "The Impact of AI on Corporate Law and Corporate Governance." And there was a paper I found as far back as 2017 called "Insight: Rise of the Robo-Director."
How did we miss this? The real story is, how did we miss this?
So I want to give you some quotes from the paper "Impact of AI on Corporate Law and Corporate Governance," and then open this up for some discussion questions. You ready for this? Okay.
The AI version of me is ready for this. The actual version of me doesn't care.
Well, the actual version of you has been
Robo
sleeping
Damien is super pumped.
In 2014, a Hong Kong venture capital firm, Deep Knowledge Ventures, claimed to have appointed VITAL, which stood for Validating Investment Tool for Advancing Life Sciences, to its board and credited it with helping to avoid being hoodwinked by hype when making investment decisions.
Okay.
The first board member that we know of that was a machine was in 2014 at a venture capital firm.
And the robo director was named VITAL?
The robo director, the acronym was named VITAL. Yeah, VITAL.
And this isn't from the annals of Business Pants.
This is not an Onion article. This is not something we covered. This is not. Okay. I mean, we were both making ESG ratings, I think, at this point. So I can't believe it didn't come up.
Yeah, right.
Now, the big question hinges on can you give, this is a private company doing a crazy thing for public, for marketing purposes, mostly, right? And they might actually use it, but it's mostly marketing. the rest of the paper hinges on, can an AI actually be a director? What are the legal liabilities? What are the standards? What are all these things?
Sure.
And they point out that as an outlier position, the UK and Hong Kong permit legal persons to be appointed as directors. So in the US, a legal person is a company, right? So already you have something that isn't a person.
Or a fetus, if you're
a fetus.
Scientist.
Now a fetus. In fact, it was only a few years ago that most countries said you can't be a minor and be on the board.
This is the rise. So what you're really saying, this is the rise of the robo-fetus directors at Caterpillar.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing.
Okay.
They said there's a big risk here outside of the legal liabilities and responsibility and stuff like that. The big risk actually is a very human risk, and they called it AI dazzle, which is when directors become passive in relation to the exercise of their judgment due to being unduly deferential to the insights of their AI counterpart.
Wait, is this like the argument in baseball about having a robo umpire call balls and strikes? Is that similar? I don't even know what are you talking about?
I'm
AI
saying
dazzle. What are you even talking about?
So
the
not
directors
only
become so what happens?
Not only are these papers like consumed with the idea of like what's the legality of putting AI on the board? Could you do it? What's the legality? But then once it's there, would everybody just defer to it? Would everybody just be like, well, the robot says we should do that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right?
The robot says we should get 3 large pizzas.
The robot says that we're spending too much on coffee and Gus should actually just brew some from yesterday's pot.
First of all, can we have a round of applause for yet another instance of corporations finding a way to avoid putting more women on their board?
Well, we'll get to that, okay? Because
I'm super impressed. I never thought about this. Why we don't need women if we can get robots.
Here is what the paper rounds out. This is near the end of the paper. It says, quote, helpfully, AI is excellent at counteracting unconscious bias. Involving AI in decision-making can reduce agency costs through addressing internal bias, board independence, and groupthink issues. Effectively, the end of this article argues that AI is diversity. That's effectively what it's saying.
Despite the fact that, like, who programmed this AI, though? Like, who?
No, it's white guys. It's mostly...
I mean, if Emma were here, she would mention... This would be the perfect time to mention systemic bias, right?
Algorithmic bias.
Algorithmic bias. Sorry. Why am I laughing? I don't even know.
All right.
I think this whole thing is so silly, robo-director.
Here are some discussion questions. We don't have to get into all of them, but I want to throw them out there. Question number 1 would be over-under. Does AI achieve legal personhood faster than women and black people did? I mean, clearly yes, right?
Clear answer there is yes, of course.
That's obvious, okay?
Yeah, because this now it's starting to sound like a... I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but I do remember that the white people, what are they called? The stormtroopers. They're clones, right? They're helps build you a big army, right? So... Yeah, I think that this is the next step for the GOP because all their voters seem to be dying off. So this is a great way to build up the ranks. So yes, I'm saying that the robo-personhood it will come much faster than women's suffrage.
In which case, once they have sort of legal status that quickly, and we've already established that counteracting unconscious bias and groupthink is like a benefit.
Sure.
The question has to be asked, did we run out of black people or Hispanics or women or the LGBT communities too busy? Like, do we run out of people to do counteracting unconscious bias and groupthink? Do we run out of people for that?
Will there be a day where Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scharf said that there just aren't enough robo-directors?
There's just not enough qualified ones. They can't find a qualified robo-director anyway.
But that can't be true because once you have one qualified one, you can just clone that one, right?
You can just copy paste. Control C, Control V.
Exactly, right?
I'm pretty sure
I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't understand. So we can do robo directors, but we can't get labor representation on the board, no employee representation.
No. But I do have a question about it because if you're an ESG rater, what percentage of AI robo-directors is correct for diversity's sake? Do you need 20% robo-directors? Do you need 15%?
You need one.
Just one? That seems really
'Cause-
discriminatory. In a
well,
room
isn't
full
the
of like
theory that-
10 white guys, you get one robot?
Isn't the theory that this robo director will just be a genius and just every decision is correct? Isn't that why it's creating AI dazzle because
It's-
he knows all?
An AI dazzled you. If
Why
it
do
can
we
make,
need anything?
if it can
Why do we need
vote,
the world? Why do we need the planet if we can have a robo director? Why can't we just eliminate Earth and just replace it with a robo director?
can I ask you, if it can vote
Yeah.
in the alternative democracy, shouldn't it be able to vote in the political democracy? Like,
Well, more importantly, will it have double voting rights? Will it have what kind
ooh,
of right?
dual
Will it have
class robo
dual
directors.
class?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. And can you imagine the death grip it'll have on that, like when you on an 85-year-old director who's been there for 40 years, it'll have when that director's trying to vote against it, it'll just apply some robo death
Some
grips,
robo pressure.
squeezing the life.
Look, I think this is the fact that this is even a debate is relatively comical when we can't put a black person or a woman on a board without being called woke. We're already talking about solving the problems
This isn't
that
woke.
adding
This isn't
diversity
woke.
does
This is
with a
hard
robot.
science. This is real science.
This is science. That's all I got. That's my nerd alert.
That's a lot.
It's
Best
a lot
one
to
ever.
think about. So take those things, discuss it with your friends, and tell us what you think. Come back to us. That's Damian Morales. I'm Matt Moscardi. We're Free Float Media, and you can listen to this show every single day of your life.
Should.
And let us
It's a
know.
robo directive.
Robo directors. What is the right percentage of the board that should be robo directors? That's all I got. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good